Phase 6 of the software development lifecycle is maintenance. Now is the time to celebrate. Our application has been uploaded, accepted, and is now listed for download for users on the various app stores for the various mobile devices out there. But does that mean that we're done? We've uploaded a mobile application, it's out there, that's it, that's all, wash our hands, walk away, let it stand on its own. Of course not. We want to continue to support our application. We want to find out if there is anything we can do to improve it, make it better, maybe add features or other functions into it to help improve the service that we deliver to our users. If you cannot measure something, you cannot control it. So the only way we can control the improvement of our application and service is to be able to measure it somehow. And there are a few things to keep in mind when we are measuring our applications. We're going to be evaluating a few things. Reviews, metrics, we'll make sure we engage with analytics, and then we're going to make sure we take all of that data and pull it together into a report. We'll begin by going over application reviews. And one of the first things I ask you to think about is what exactly motivates people to leave these written reviews on the app stores about your app? I want you to imagine that a brand new restaurant has opened, and you take your family there for dinner. You go there, the food is delicious, the service is wonderful, the atmosphere is fantastic, and the bill was cheap. You leave there, you're very happy, you had a great experience. How many people are you going to tell? Maybe a few. Certainly tell people I had a great dinner, but that'll be about it. You went there, you got what you expected. Now let's change it a little bit. New restaurant opens, you go. The staff is rude, the food is overpriced, the food is disgusting. You leave and you have a terrible time with your family. You'll never be back. How many people are you going to tell about your bad experience? Probably considerably more than you would have told about your good experience. That's the same motivation that can influence the written application reviews that you will find on your app store. You are going to see some people who, when they have something that upsets them, they don't want to click 1 star. They want to write about it. They want to tell you about it. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing because if they are in fact upset with something, hopefully when they write about how they are upset, they will tell you what it is. And now you have something that you can investigate, something that you can research for how to improve it so that others will not encounter that same experience. Also consider gathering metrics. Now what are these? These are little pieces of data that help you understand how your application is performing, but don't rely on them alone. There is potentially some problems with using these alone. Good example, downloads. How many times has your application been downloaded? People love to brag, love to boast. My application has been downloaded 100,000 times. My application has been downloaded 1 million times. It sounds great, but the fact is that no one is tracking how many times your application has been uninstalled. So the 1,000 people who downloaded and installed your application, how do you know that 5 minutes later they didn't uninstall it? You can't. That's not tracked. There is no metric on the App Store that says number of times uninstalled. One of the ways you can find out is through user retention. The best way to drive retention is when you have an update to your application. You upload that to the App Store, and anyone who is still using the app should receive a notice about it. Do they download the update or don't they? If you have a large number of people who have downloaded the application and you have a large number of people who apply the update, you have a pretty good retention rate. Also consider engaging your users. Is your application being used on a regular basis or isn't it? Now, does it need to? Consider the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They have an application that is useful to people as they are traveling outside of the country. If their application isn't used that often, does that mean the application is a failure? Or does it mean that not many people were traveling outside of the country at that time? Never forget the audience that your application is addressing. because there may be considerations outside of initially they don't like our application that could account for any kind of low levels of usage. In fact, the best information to collect is going to be analytics. Now, analytics is nothing more than completely objective statistical data about usage patterns of your application. How many times was the application opened? Which pages did they go to? For websites, we have something called the bounce rate, which is simply how many times did someone come to the web page and then go somewhere else that was not within your website. This is useful data to collect because from this statistical data, you can extrapolate patterns that will help you to understand the user's need for your application. What function is it that they're using the most of? Is there a particular step in the process for using that capability that people spend the most time on? Why is that? Analytics will capture data that will help you begin to investigate that. And good news, just as Google Analytics has been widely known to be available for website developers, they also provide APIs for people to integrate it into applications for not just Android, but also iOS. So we take all of this information that we have collected, we package it together, we analyze it, we interpret it, we build it into a report. We take this report to management because management wants to know, are we getting any kind of good return on our investment for this application? Has it been worth it? Should we continue to improve it? And if so, how? Or has it been so abysmal that we need to just stop and start all over again from a different approach? That is what the reports are going to be used to evaluate. And as you can see, that is what we are going to produce from step 6 to feed right back into step 1, where we will begin to consider and establish the new design requirements, milestones, and capabilities that are going to go into the next update of our application.